What's up, YouTube? Nick O'Dwyer back with you for another episode of the 10th inning, and I am continuing my series of This Day in Sports History. Now, I started this series yesterday on May 11th, 2020. The year doesn't really matter, it's just this day in sports history. So today, May 12th, what happened in sports history? If you all enjoy this video, leave a like on the video, it helps a lot. Leave a comment if I forgot something, and subscribe to the channel if you want more of this content. Now, one of these events that happened today, I thought was just so important, and I think I will be doing it every day. I'll find one event that happened in sports history every single day and write an article about it, and the website I write it on will be left down in the description for a link. So without further ado, let's get into what happened on this day in sports history. Starting out in 1910, we have the Philadelphia Athletics going up against the Cleveland Naps in baseball. The Athletics end up winning the game 4-0. The Athletics pitcher, Chief Bender, throws a no-hitter against the Naps in that game. With 9 innings pitched, 1 walk allowed, and 4 strikeouts in that no-hit bid. Then we move on to 1912. We have the North Amsterdam Football Club of DWV. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the actual name because I will just look like a fool. I don't want to look like a fool right now. So I'll just say DWV was founded on this day in 1912. In 1913, a year later, we have a British marathon runner, Harry Green, who ran the world record at the time for a marathon at 2 hours, 38 minutes, 16.2 seconds. Now, looking at how everything is happening today, how athletes have advanced since then, that doesn't seem impressive at all. I mean, hell, we're close to 2 hours right now for marathon time. So this is adding 38 minutes on that. But it was a world record back then. Now, it only lasted for 19 days, but that's 19 days of being a world record holder. So I'd say that's still pretty good. Moving up about 40 years now, we have the Brooklyn Dodgers going up against the New York Giants. Now, we had one of these yesterday on May 11th. Sandy Koufax, 1963, threw a no-hitter against the San Francisco Giants. Well, today, in 1956, the Brooklyn Dodger Carl Erskine threw his second no-hitter against the New York Giants. Not the San Francisco Giants, the New York Giants, and won the game 3-0. He threw 9 innings, 2 walks allowed, and 3 strikeouts. In 1961, the Russian Grandmaster, and I'm going to look because I don't want to butcher the name, the Russian Grandmaster Mikhail Botvinnik wins the World Chess Championship for the 3rd time in his career. Now, he was really the first chess grandmaster from the Soviet Union, so he had to grow up in some really hard times, and his whole thing was he looked for strategy. He wanted to outplay you, obviously. That's what chess is. But he needed to be able to get a read on you. That was the important part for him. In 1960, he went up against Mikhail Tov, who was the champion in the world. Come 1961, he provoked a rematch, and in 1961, Botvinnik came back and beat Tov. Moving to 1970, and this is what I wrote the article on today, because I know I'm a huge baseball fan. I know a lot of people out there are still big baseball fans. In 1970, Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, hits his 500th home run off of Pat Jarvis at 39 years old, becoming only the 9th player in MLB history at the time to become a member of the 500 home run club. Now, ironically enough, the player who became the 8th player in MLB history to join the 500 home run club, Hank Aaron, was on the Atlanta Braves when they played that day. So he was there to congratulate Ernie Banks for what he did. In the 2nd inning, Ernie Banks turned on a fastball, hit it over the left field wall, became the 9th player in MLB history to hit 500 home runs in his career. Now there are 27. It's one of the hardest feats in all of Major League Baseball, and he became one of 9 at the time to do it, now one of 27. In 1973, we have the 6th ABA championship between the Indiana Pacers and the Kentucky Colonels. The Indiana Pacers won the series in 7 games, 4-3. George McGinnis was the big hero in Game 7, 27 points. And that was really the biggest name from the Indiana Pacers at the time. But the Kentucky Colonels, they had Dan Issel and Artis Gilmore, two just all-around great players in the ABA and all-stars in the NBA. But George McGinnis led the Pacers to a championship, really carrying the team on the back. A year later, in 1974, we have the 28th NBA championship between the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Boston Celtics were able to win the series in 7 games, winning it 4-3, thanks to the play of Dave Cowens, John Havlicek, and JoJo White. Now, those three were mainly going up against the big three of the Bucks in Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bob Dandridge, and Oscar Robertson. Now, Oscar Robertson wasn't nearly as big of a threat as he once was in his career. He was 35 years old, getting up there, almost coming to retirement. So I'll throw another name out there, Lucius Allen. Allen was really that third guy on the team. Even though we all know Robertson is one of the greatest of all time, he just wasn't what he once was. And Cowens, JoJo White, Havlicek, they all helped the Boston Celtics win another championship in their storied franchise in 1974. In 1976, during the 20th European Cup, Bayern Munich of Germany defeats Saint Etienne of France 1-0 in Glasgow to win the European Championship. In 1979, we have potentially the greatest clay tennis player ever to play the game. Chris Evert was a master in her own right on clay. During her prime in clay, she had a 125 match winning streak on clay, but that came to an end on this day in 1979. Those 125 straight wins on clay are 44 more than Rafael Nadal, who has the second most consecutive wins on clay. And we know that Rafael Nadal made his bread and butter playing on clay. That's his specialty. But Chris Evert, 125 match streak ended in 1979. In 1980, West Ham United wins the FA Cup over Arsenal 1-0 at Wembley Stadium, with Trevor Brooking scoring the game winner off of a rare header. Then in 1982, we have FC Barcelona of Spain winning the 22nd European Cup Winners' Cup against Standard Liège of Belgium in Barcelona 2-1. Then in 1993, we have Parma of Italy winning the 33rd European Cup Winners' Cup against Royal Antwerp of Belgium 3-1 in London. Finally, on this day in history, in 2013, the PGA Players Championship, Tiger Woods wins his second Players Championship, 2 strokes ahead of David Ligmerth, Jeff Maggart, and Kevin Streelman. So again, there were more things I could have added that happened in this day in history, but I chose what seemed really important to me, what seemed out of the ordinary to me, something like that. Again, if you guys want to hear more, I can add more. Just let me know down in the comment section, because I can add a lot, but especially during this time, this is the time we would have the Kentucky Derby, more likely the Preakness Stakes. There are so many Preakness Stakes on here that, yeah, I could read all the winners, but I don't really feel it's important unless you set a record or something. But again, if you guys want me to fix that, let me know down in the comment section. For Nick O'Dwyer and the 10th inning, stay safe out there, everyone. See ya.